This is the Steam Deck, a portable gaming system from Valve that lets you run various games from your Steam library. I've been using this thing for about 3 years now and I have no complaints. It's still the very first version, so I become curious whether it would be possible to run Minecraft on this remarkable device, as it has never been officially released for this platform. In short, yes, it is possible, and today I will demonstrate how. We will not only run the regular Java Minecraft but also test various shaders, find out if the Steam Deck can handle a mod pack with 400 mods, and try to run Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Subscribe and let's get started! The first question that comes to mind is, of course, how do I run Minecraft on a Steam Deck? Unfortunately, or fortunately, this game is not available on Steam. There is a Minecraft Dungeons, which for some strange reason does not support Steam Deck, even though the game was released on Nintendo Switch. The reason may be that you need to log into the Microsoft to play the game, and the login window simply does not load. But I just went into the desktop mode, launched the game there, the window appeared, I logged in, and now I'm happily playing MCD. The game works great on Steam Deck and consistently delivers 60 FPS with simplified graphics, which unfortunately cannot be said about the Switch version. The second game is Minecraft Legends, and it can be launched and played without any problems. Unfortunately, the gamepad layout is not updated and displays the buttons from the Xbox controller, as in Dungeons, but you can play without any problems. What about regular Minecraft? Look, SteamOS is just a shell that runs on Linux, which means you can install anything you want on this wonderful device. For example, there is no official support for Ubisoft Connect on Steam Deck, but by following certain steps from tutorial videos on YouTube, I was able to do it, so I had no problem launching one of my favorite games, Immortal Phoenix Rising. So our task is simply to switch to desktop mode. The Steam Deck will reboot and we will be taken to the Linux operating system desktop without any problems. Everything here is clear as possible, and if you have ever used Windows, you will visually understand what's what. Essentially, with the help of this hub, I connected a keyboard and mouse without any problems, and I can use Steam Deck like a regular computer. You won't really need this unless you want to install Minecraft. The touchscreen works perfectly in this mode. We can move on to the first method. Go to the official website, minecraft.net, go to the game section and download the official Minecraft launcher. There are several of them, but you need to choose the one with the penguin icon. After downloading, unzip the archive and run the launcher. It will automatically start the installation. Next, you will be asked to log in to your account, and voila, you have officially launched Minecraft. Of course, except for the Java edition of the game, other games will not be available. At the same time, of course, you do not need to download Java itself. The launcher does this on its own. Next, all you have to do is select the version of the game and install it. It will launch without any problems. It may be laggy at first, but overall everything will work, and the wonderful world of Minecraft will open up before you. But there is a problem. Several, in fact. Every time you start the launcher, the game will ask you to log into your account. You will not be able to remember information. That's one drawback. The second is that the Java edition does not officially support gamepads, so you have to install mods. Everything works for me because I connected a keyboard and mouse. The third is that after the first time, the launcher stopped working for me. No matter what I did, the result was the same. It just gives an error and asks me to restart my computer. However, there is a second option that completely eliminates all the previous drawbacks. Again, you need to switch to desktop mode in any case. Then, in the quick access panel, you need to open a kind of app store, where in the game section we can find Prism Launcher. Yes, it's a third-party launcher, but is based on MultiMC and has open source code. I use it myself. After that, just click download and that's it. Wait for the download to finish, open it, and again, you need to log into your account. You can either scan the QR code or follow the link and enter the letter code there. Nothing complicated. I think you've done this many times before. Next, a new launcher will open. Here you can still create different instances of Minecraft. I decided to just create the latest version of Minecraft 1.21.11, without mods, without anything. You don't need to install Java either. It downloads automatically. After about 2-3 minutes, Minecraft launched and I was able to play it using the keyboard and mouse. But what should I do now? Do I have to connect the keyboard every time? Switch to desktop mode and play Minecraft that way? Of course not. In order for Minecraft to work as we're used to, we still need to resort to mods, or to be more precise, to just one, Controlify, which will give us a gamepad support. To install it correctly, you first need to go to the Minecraft instance and install the loader, which in our case is Fabric. The installation is simple as possible. Just select it and the version with a star icon next to it. That's it. The installation is complete. Now go to the Modrinth, download Controlify, and to make it all work, you will also need Fabric API and yet another config lib. Download all of this and simply move it to the mods tab. Then you need to check that you have done everything correctly, just in case. If you see the main menu after launching, then you have done everything perfectly. The final touch is to add the launcher to Steam. Open it, click on the plus sign in lower left corner, select Add a non-Steam game, and in the menu that opens, find our Prism launcher. Select it and click Add game. That's it. Return to game mode. From the main menu, we need to go to the library to the third-party games tab. There we will find Prism Launcher and we'll be able to open it without any problems. We will immediately be taken to the launcher. On this screen, the gamepad buttons do not work, but the touchscreen or a combination of the Steam button and the right trackpad work. We will turn on the computer mouse. That's it. We launch the Minecraft instance we need and wait for about 20-30 seconds. When the game starts, the Controlify mod will offer to calibrate the Steam Deck, which of course needs to be done and will take about 10 seconds. Again, you need to select it using the touchscreen or mouse as I showed, because for some reason the mod does not turn on automatically when you first log in, even after calibration. I had to go to Settings, Control Settings, and then Controller Settings, and select Steam Deck there. From that moment on, this option will automatically turn on every time you start the game, and you will be able to start the game without any problems. This mod is very convenient and works not only with the Steam Deck, but also with other controls on Java Minecraft. Basically, if you played Minecraft on a console, you should understand perfectly well how the gamepad layout works. It's the same here, but here's the thing. The Java edition of the game was not designed for controllers, and there are many functions that simply cannot be fit onto a gamepad because the number of buttons is limited. The creators of this mod will also be able to solve this problem. They added a circular menu. Believe me, it's very convenient. By pressing the cross key to the right, a menu with 8 icons opens in front of us. The first one turns the graphical interface on and off. The second changes the player's perspective. The third throws away a whole stack of items. The fourth opens the chat. The fifth changes the items in your hands. The sixth selects the blocks as if we were doing it by clicking the mouse wheel. The seventh takes the screenshot, and the eighth shows us a list of players on the server. But most importantly, each of these buttons can be changed in the settings. For example, if I know I'm playing solo, I don't need to see how many players are on the server, so I replace it with the debug menu. Overall, the mod has stable settings, so everyone will find what they need. How does the game perform on such a device in general? I would say it's excellent. Yes, when you record everything directly, you can see every jagged edge, and it seems as if the graphics have become slightly worse. But again, this feeling only arises when viewing on a large screen. When you play Minecraft on the device itself, you simply don't notice it. For you, it's literally the most standard Minecraft. In fabulous graphics mode, the game easily delivers about 100-120 FPS, which is more than enough to play comfortably. When I selected the fancy graphics mod, it didn't get any worse, but the game now constantly stayed around 110-120 FPS, and I didn't notice any significant decrease in graphics quality. The third and the last official graphics mod, Fast, gives a 5 FPS increase, so it was consistently 150-120 FPS, but of course the graphics become noticeably worse. I got the impression that the game had been officially ported for this device. I had a great time playing it, but now that we've installed the mods and realized that everything works, why not go even further? Why not install the mods and discover the full potential of this device? So in order not to strain myself too much, I decided to use mod packs from Modrinth. Of course, the first one was fabulously optimized, one of the most popular mod packs that optimizes Minecraft. The second pack is Prominence 2, House-Tarian Era, which contains almost 400 mods. And last, third pack, Zima's Vanilla Plus, is, as I understand, a special pack optimized for playing on a Steam Deck. In addition, I downloaded 3 shader packs, Complementary Shaders Reimagined, BSL Shaders, and TA Project, so that I could fully understand how the device would handle them. Fabulously optimized proved itself well, so I immediately installed the TA Project shader, which simply smooths out the jagged edge. It is as vanilla as possible, and when loading the territory and moving forward, the game produces approximately 200 to 350 FPS. But I should note that during chunk loading the FPS sometimes drop to 80, but this is always the case. So the next shaders were Complementary Shaders Reimagined. If the first one loaded in about 5 seconds, this took about 30-40 seconds to load, and the Steam Deck started to buzz very loudly. But to my surprise, even with such serious shaders, everything worked very smoothly, and during loading the FPS jumped between 40 and 60 frames. But I should note that I didn't configure anything in the shaders, and if you tinker with it a bit, I think you can keep the FPS stable at around 50 frames. It was a bit unusual for me to play Minecraft on a Steam Deck in general, let alone with shaders. The third and last shader pack I tested was BSL. They loaded in about 10 seconds, and the shaders weren't as resource intensive as previous ones, so the frame rate didn't drop below 55. On the contrary, at times it even reached 75. It was much more comfortable to play with this, considering that I honestly didn't find any particular problems. The second mod pack, Zima's Vanilla Plus, was extremely strange. At first, when I had just created the world, everything lagged terribly because of the Distant Horizon mod. As far as I understood, it needed time to load a certain numbers of chunks, 6,400 to be exact, and it took about 10 or even 15 minutes. All this time the game lagged mercilessly, although I expected everything to work flawlessly from the first launch, considering that the mod pack was created exclusively for Steam Deck. At the very least, I honestly don't understand why they added such a huge minimap, knowing full well that we don't have a particularly large screen at our disposal. But after disabling some acid shaders and selecting the second ones, which were available by default, as well as waiting for Distant Horizon to load, I was finally able to play normally. The FPS was around 40 to 80, but I noticed some strange micro freezes when scrolling the camera. To be honest, it bothered me a little, so I decided to move on to the next mod pack. Unfortunately, Prominence 2 House Tyrant Era wouldn't even launch. Every time I tried, I got an error related to Java, even though everything was installed. I thought that the problem was probably the amount of RAM, so I switched to desktop mode and allocated 8 GB. I immediately decided to launch and test it, and to my surprise, everything worked. The game launched completely, and I was able to create a new world. Yes, the FPS issue on the mod pack with 400 mods installed is a very sensitive one. At first, everything worked very smoothly, with constant micro freezes, but by setting the graphics mode to fast and disable unnecessary visual effects, I achieved approximately 60-80 FPS, which I consider to be an unimaginable victory. Yes, again, micro freezes sometimes appeared when loading the world, but they were not as frequent as before adjusting the graphics. Overall, it was possible to play comfortably, but the 400 mods made themselves felt, and the Steam Deck roared like a steam engine. Moreover, I played using a keyboard and mouse, and the problem of the number of buttons remained, but I still decided to run the mod pack in game mode, and again, nothing worked. I started looking for the problem and found that the devils is in the details. The whole problem was in the name of the mod pack. For some reason, the creators decided that it would be a great idea to add a trademark symbol to the name. Because of this, the system couldn't access the folder in the game mode, so as soon as I removed it from the name, the mod pack launched in the game mode. Everything still worked in it, but for some reason the FPS was slightly lower. But even this result surprised me greatly. Now the question arises, would it be possible to install Bedrock Minecraft here? Of course, but there are 3 ways to do this. The first is to install Windows 10 or 11 on this device. The device supports it, and Valve even wrote their own drivers, but they do not guarantee stability and in general do not give any promises that everything will work. But in any case, you can run Minecraft, although it takes a very long time and it's very tedious, so I didn't do it. The second way is effortless. In the same app store, you need to find Bedrock Launcher and, as you may have guessed, install it. It's not complicated, but you need to have Minecraft Trail version APK file or the full version on Google Play. The second option worked for me. I logged into my account and the launcher allowed me to download the game. Afterward, I checked to see if it worked, and it did. Funnily enough, the game automatically enabled vibrant visuals. Yes, these were the lowest settings, but the beautiful graphics were displayed without any problems. To launch Bedrock Minecraft from game mode, I simply searched for Bedrock Launcher, left-clicked on it, and added to my Steam library. Now, when I returned to game mode, I launched Minecraft without any problems and was able to play it without any issues. Everything worked perfectly, although everyone can customize the game to their preferences. The third method is a little more complex, as it requires installing an Android emulator. There is nothing complicated about it either. Repeat after me. Switch back to desktop mode and open the terminal. Type the command cd:/ and then this long command, where we copy the repository from GitHub. After that, enter the downloaded folder using this command, and to start the installation, type shmod +x steamos-waydroid-installer.sh, then /steamos-waydroid-installer.sh and enter a password. You don't need to do anything else, just wait for the installation to finish, and when this screen appears, select the A13_G apps option. This will install Android 13 with Google Apps. Immediately after that, a super long Android download will begin. It took me about an hour, but I didn't have to do anything, and after the installation I was offered to switch to game mode. Our Android appeared in the same tab with the third-party applications. In the settings, you need to select the native resolution, and in the controls select native sensor support. That's it, launch it, and you'll see the regular Android right in front of you. Since I had purchased Minecraft, I went to my Google Play profile and installed it on the Steam Deck without any problems. But I don't know what exactly happened, but nothing worked. The game froze at the logo display, the Steam Deck started making noise, and nothing happened. Therefore, since the official version doesn't work, you need to turn to, let's say, third-party version. On a well-known website, I downloaded the version that is designed for ARM64 processors, as I far understand, and what do you think? Everything worked! After installation, I launched the latest version of Minecraft Bedrock without any problems. Everything worked like a clockwork. Of course, you shouldn't expect vibrant visual support, most likely because we are running Minecraft on an emulator. But the main thing is that the default graphics settings offer as many as 22 chunks, which is a pretty good result. As soon as I created a new world, the game loaded without any problems, and I found myself in a completely normal Minecraft. Overall, everything works perfectly. The game consistently runs at over 60 FPS, and it's comfortable to play. You can easily play both versions on the Steam Deck. Yes, of course, you will have to perform a series of steps to install them, but overall, Steam Deck is precisely the kind of device where you are free to do whatever you want. Even things that are not officially supported can be run on this device with a little effort. Despite its price, this device has a huge community that will definitely not leave you in the dark. When I was planning the video, I thought I would have to install Windows, delete the entire system, and then put everything back the way it was. While searching for information, I came across a post on Reddit with advice to install an Android emulator. It was a really brilliant solution. Even though it's an emulator on, roughly speaking, an emulator, it works wonderfully. I didn't notice any serious lag or anything else, except maybe when I first loaded Minecraft. But otherwise, it's great. But that's if you want to install an emulator as well. As for me, the second option with the Bedrock launcher is the simplest and most convenient. What was the result? To be honest, I didn't expect it to work. Yes, I understood that I could run the regular Java version without any problems because I knew about Prism Launcher, but as for running Minecraft with shaders or even a mod pack with 400 mods, I couldn't even imagine it. Initially, I wanted to install the Bedrock edition in Java, but the deeper I delved into this topic, the more I realized that I could do literally anything. What pleased me the most was the performance of this device. Yes, if you take serious mod packs, the FPS will of course be lower, and no one has cancelled the problem with the number of buttons, but it still works. What do you think about this? Have you installed Minecraft on a Steam Deck? Share your experience in the comments. While you wait for the next video, check out these ones, they are just as interesting. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash that like button and hit the notification bell. See you soon, because we're discovering Minecraft in a whole new way.